let's talk about it. Burns versus Brady. That's the first thing I got to bring up. Um, a lot of that fight, I was watching it, and in my opinion, Burns just looked like he couldn't let it go. For some odd reason, he just could not let it go. And I know there's a saying, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be 38, and he is 38. And I think he looked all of 38. You know, um, Punches weren't coming fast. It didn't seem like there was like any urgency to want to, you know, dismantle his opponent. In Burns, I'm talking about. There was just no urgent. It looked like there was just no urgency there for him. On the other hand, Brady, he stuck it to Burns, stood in his face the whole time, and not only did he, you know, stood right there in front of his face, but excuse me, his pace was phenomenal as well. He just stood right there in the pocket the whole time, right in front of him. Um, Made sure that he transitioned from stand up to grappling on the fence, having underhooks on the fence as well. And every time Burns tried to break the clinch, Brady's answer was to then, hit him with a combination, maybe an elbow, you know, mixed in there with a few hooks and straights, and then automatically go in for a single leg or a double leg if he can. And he kept Burns, a lot of the time on the fence, grappling on the fence. And when he did take Burns down, they both got up. Burns got up relatively fast, so there wasn't any great Brazilian Jiu Jitsu action or wrestling action going on. It was really just in your face type of gritty game plan that Brady came in there with, and he beat Burns, man. I gotta give it to Brady. Hats off to him and his team. They came up with a really relatively great game plan against a guy who's known to have power. And not only have power in the beginning of the fight, but he also Burns also holds that power late into the rounds as well. So so that was a great game plan to mitigate that issue, which is Burns' power. Let me stay in front of his face, put him up against that fence, let him use his arms, get his arms tired with, grappling with him and keeping him on this fence. And it worked. It really did because Burns looked slow. He looked sluggish. And at points, he looked like, uh, I don't want to say like he didn't want to be there, but like I said, it didn't seem like there was any urgency coming from Burns. It didn't seem like he was um, wanting to finish the fight, or I don't want to say there wasn't a sense of him wanting to win the fight. I don't want to say that because every fighter goes in there with the will to win. But the way it just looked like he felt something and he just was like, man, I don't really have much to give, so I'm going to save my energy and see if I could catch him later in the rounds, which had never happened. But again, hats off to Brady and his team for coming up with this game plan and it really working for him. The event itself, it was a lot of decisions, but it was a great night of fights. If you wanted something for free and you didn't have anything to do on a Saturday, It was a great night to watch UFC. I'll tell you that much. Now, what's next? Excuse me. What's next for Brady? Uh, I don't want to say. That's very interesting, because he's coming off of a win now, and he's coming off of a win of a top contender really in Burns. I think Burns was ranked like 6 or 7 around there. Brady, I believe he's ranked like maybe 8 or 7th around there. They were really close in ranking. So I don't want to say, I don't want to give out too many names, but maybe Usman Brady. That'll make sense. Just, excuse me, just because we get to see, we get to see really what Brady has to offer. Yeah, Burns, like I said, he just looked all of 38. Um, and yes, Usman, he is coming off of losses, but in a sense, Usman is still up there in ranking. He's still, one of the best welterweights right now, and I think that's a good matchup. Brady versus Usman. Why not? Um, they could get that going. Um, and furthermore, man, getting off of this topic, we have to talk about this once again. Is the number one topic right now is the Sphere with Sean O'Malley and Marab. I just went on ESPN right now just to do a little quick recap of Brady and Burns. I wanted to just rewatch that fight really fast and just really see what the game plan was for Brady. But one thing that I actually noticed was not only did the ticket sales go down, okay, so the ticket prices for the Sphere event actually went down significantly. I'm talking these seats were going for like 2 grand, and now you could buy them for like 800, 700. All right, but not only that, but I saw going on ESPN Plus, I saw that they have the pay-per-view buys lowered because I believe it was like $80 or 89.99 or something like that, or maybe 79.99, and now it's at 69.99. So to me, that indicates not only are their ticket numbers down, but their pay-per-view buys are significantly down, especially if you bring in the price for pay-per-view down. All right, now that is a significant difference. Basically, bringing all the prices down, whether it's ticket prices and pay-per-view. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this from the UFC like ever. So this definitely tells me the Sphere. Not only was it, I don't want to say a waste of money because they put in $20 million into this one event. I don't want to say it's waste, but it's starting to look like it is plateauing. It is not gonna be as lucrative as Dana White and the UFC thought it'll be. And they're putting much more money into this event that they actually thought. And now the UFC accountants are like, hey, we have to do something to, basically get our money back, because if not, we're gonna be in a negative. If anything, we're probably gonna make only $1 million off of this whole event, whether it's pay-per-view buys, ticket prices, merchandise sales, all of that. I don't think they're gonna make much money off of this one event, and that's a bad look, especially with how Dana White expressed that this is gonna be one of the most entertaining events live for UFC fans. Hi, I'm new. Jelly Rim. Jelly Rim, hi, I'm new. How you doing, Jelly Rim? Hopefully you having a good one. I don't know where you are right now. Right now, where I'm at, it's about 5:40 something a.m. Hopefully you're having a good morning. If you're having a good morning, or if you're having if it's nighttime, have a great night. Um, but thank you, Jelly Rim. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and like if you can, please. That helps the algorithm put me in front of people who actually want to hear this informative information that I have talking about MMA and the UFC. 5:52 in the morning for me. Oh yes. Oh okay. So yep. That's exactly where we at. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong time there. It is 5:53 where I'm at as well. So you must be in the East Coast. Um, but uh, but yeah, the UFC the sphere, it's failing, man, and that's a big topic right now. Um, I was supposed to do a live for this event for the Brady and Burns, but I was watching the early prelims and it wasn't that entertaining. So I told myself, you know what, let me not go live for this event. But I will be attempting to go live for the Sean O'Malley and Marab fight. It just all depends on if this event it's even happening. Nice Santa Claus beard. William William says nice Santa Claus beard. Hey man, thanks. I appreciate that. Really do. Um, but yeah, it all depends if this fear is actually gonna happen. I mean, we got Marab getting hurt multiple times. He jumps into a lake. He thought the lake wasn't frozen. The lake ended up being frozen. He jumps into this lake head first, diving, basically diving into concrete. Ends up having staples having to put on his head. All right. Not only that, he gets a eyebrow cut right here where he needs multiple stitches. And this is all 3 weeks away, from this major event. So I don't even know if we're gonna have this event happen. Oh, let's not even talk about Marab's picture with the staph infection, and now we have the doctors calling, Marab asking if he even has staph, if he's done his medicals. A lot of crazy things going on, especially with Marab. I don't even know if we make it to next weekend, to be honest. But moving on from that, we got we got a good fight on our hands. All right, and I'm talking about Mazadov coming back to the UFC and fighting Chandler. Look, I know a lot of people are not really entertained with the with Chandler coming back from basically retirement. I don't want to say he was retired. He really wasn't. He's been waiting on Conor McGregor, but everybody knows you're gonna be waiting for a lifetime. So you might as well compete now. I don't know how much energy you have. I don't know how you're gonna look because you've been out for so long. But I say that's a good matchup for Mazadov to come back to the UFC and to take on a challenger like Chandler. I've said this before and I say it again. This is a great matchup. Now, will the UFC schedule it? I don't know. Will Chandler even want that fight? I have no idea. But I tell you what, it's a smart move for Chandler to take this fight. Because, Mazadov, he got a name. Okay, he got a backing. And this guy is always game. That's why his name is Game Bread. All right? Mazadov is always game. He's always entertaining, regardless if he wins or loses. So why not put them to get against each other? It'll be a good look for both men. Masvidal coming back. He hasn't been really competing in MMA, but his last event was against a boxing fight against Diaz. So why not? Why not do it? I mean, on paper, it looks good for Chandler, especially that he has that wrestling pedigree. So why not put that fight together? Oh yeah, that's right. We're waiting on Conor McGregor. Chandler and the UFC and Dana White are all waiting for Conor McGregor. That's what I say. You're gonna be waiting forever, honestly. But moving on from that, the UFC put out a promotional little video for Jon Jones. I thought it was really, really sweet. You know, I thought it was fantastic. Okay. Basically, the video was showing how great Jon Jones is. How he's the best pound for pound. It really was a great promotional tool to propel whatever you wanted to propel to the masses. The reality is Dana White and the UFC are very much, I don't want to say nervous, but they are in a problematic state when it comes to the heavyweight division. If Jon Jones was to walk out of the heavyweight division right now, look, don't get me wrong, I like the interim champ, okay? But besides him, there's nobody there. Nobody entertaining, that is. I can't remember the last time the UFC heavyweight division has been this bad. It probably was, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. It probably was in Tim Sylvia's reign early on. I don't want to say, you know, towards the back end of his career, but I want to say maybe in the beginning of that reign, maybe the heavyweight division wasn't so great. But I don't know, man. The heavyweight division right now doesn't look pretty to me. And not only that, but we got Ngannou over here in PFL about to compete and against Ferreira, I believe. And on paper, this fight looks crazy. We got this guy, Ferreira, he's like 6'7". I mean, he's like 6'8", 6'9". The guy is a towering man, and actually, he's tall. He towers, and he's taller than Ngannou. So when they did that face-off, man, that really looked good in my opinion. Got this big, predominantly tall, huge character fighting, a lot of people's opinion, the pound for pound best heavyweight right now in mixed martial arts in Ngannou. I know a lot of people are saying, look, it's Jon Jones, especially Dana White in the UFC. They're riding that coattail to the end, you know. But in reality, if you look how the heavyweight division has, you know, how it has basically, you know, compiled itself, Ngannou has to be one of the best, you know, heavyweight fighters right now. You know, if not the best. But the UFC doesn't want to hear that. And a lot of fans, you know, don't want to hear that either. But I tell you what, tune in to, I believe in October. So tune in October, Ngannou versus Ferreira. That's going to be a terrific fight. And you know what? Like I said before, and I'll say it again, Ngannou has a lot riding on this. All right? A lot is riding on this fight. Okay? Because there's so many people, that, especially from the UFC side, that want Ngannou to lose. Because if Ngannou loses, that's it. Oh my gosh, the "I told you so" is gonna come so quickly after that. Okay, and then Dana White is gonna take his chances and be like and say, look, Ferrera is not even is an experienced champion or experienced fighter. You know what I mean? John Jones will beat him and submit him within a round, within a minute. That fight would have happened like that. That's gonna happen if Ferrera beats Ngannou. They're gonna feed that to the masses. Oh, if John Jones fought that guy, he'll beat him under a minute. Not worry about it. You see how Ngannou lost? So there's a lot riding on this fight for Ngannou. This is a must-win for him. And I don't know what happens next after that, because there's really nobody else in the heavyweight division in that organization who I think could compete with Ngannou or should compete with Ngannou, just because honestly the guy has a big platform. He's coming from being the UFC heavyweight champion to giving the belt back to the UFC, walking away from the UFC, then competing twice in boxing against arguably two of the best heavyweight boxers on the planet right now. Okay? Competed against them two, and now is walking into an MMA fight against this towering figure. He has a big platform. All right? He has the UFC fans behind him. He has his country behind him. He has the boxing fans behind him now. Okay? So he has a huge platform. So this is a must-win for him. A lot of eyes are going to be on him. But moving on from that, man, I tell you what, I'm excited for the Sphere, regardless of the event not looking particularly the way I wanted it to look. Excuse me. But for the most part, I'm excited. Watching the ticket sales go down, like the ticket prices, watching it go down, and watching the pay-per-view by price go down as well. It just gets me a little bit, I don't want to say nervous, but it does tell the story that the UFC right now, even though they're always growing and expanding, they're not at their best state. They're just not. And there's not a lot of fighters out there who are gonna give you that push like Conor McGregor did early on in his career. So I just wonder, how creative can the UFC be? Especially with, you have talent. Don't get me wrong. You have talent. But if we're talking about, people being able to market themselves and promote themselves and being fashionable on the mic and relatable, that's a tough one to shoot. That really is. Because there's not a lot of that right now. Which it's okay. But at some point, the UFC has to know that they have to be more creative with the opportunities that are given to them. I'll tell you that much. They have a lot of different outlets, whether it's ESPN with the Contender Series and the Tough, and their pay-per-views, and then the massive amount of events that they have going on throughout the year. I understand they're doing a great job promoting the UFC, but man, they have to do a better job, in my opinion, on promoting the fighters. Okay, because right now, from what I see, they're not doing a great job, or they're not even doing it at all. I think they're just leaving it to the fighters. They're like, look, we give you this platform here at the UFC, but you got to be able to market and promote yourself. And I think that's what's going on right now. I mean, if you look at the Sphere, the Sphere is right around the corner, literally. It's Monday already. And The Sphere, I believe it's on Saturday. So they virtually have done no promotion. Like, I haven't seen an embedded or anything. I haven't seen a countdown either for the Sphere event. I think the UFC is giving up promoting and marketing these fighters, and I think they're doing their fighters a disservice in doing that. And I don't want to sit here and complain, but that's what it looks like to me, honestly. But I've been on here for 25 minutes now. 25 minutes. 25 minutes. I'm going to wait a little bit longer. I'll probably get off here soon. Just going to wait a little bit longer, man. See how busy I can get this right now. But yeah, man. Yeah, guys, it's been a hell of a 2024 for the mixed martial arts community, and we're gonna see how it ends. You know what I mean? Because again, we still got John Jones and Stipe. You know, it's supposed to happen this year. Finally got O'Malley versus Merab is gonna happen less than a week. Let's not jinx that, because again, Merab is over here jumping in frozen lakes head first, so you never know what he might do next. But yeah, we got some exciting events coming up. I just hope they all stay entangled and the events actually come out good and great. But we'll see. We shall see. You know, I've seen crazier things happen. People not going into the fight because of a pinky toe, you know? So, you never know what's going to happen. But I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good one. You already know. It's been good talking to you. Bless.